On one end, you have your superstars that have changed the game and had or are having unbelievable careers. Everyone loves them, and you better love them too, or else. Then there are some players in the middle that we speak about that have had their growth stunted and didn't have the career expected, but at least still had careers and somewhat of a fair shot. But what about the end seldom talked about? Stories like today's feature that never had a chance and are considered busts by the majority of fans. These group of guys have a story that can also be a lesson in perspective that this side of the game does exist. A side with a painful reality that in this game, nothing is certain. Circumstance, basketball politics, team selected by, system, current players, personality, family and background, unavoidable injury, and so much more can push a player to being considered by the masses a huge disappointment, unequivocally, whatever that shit Stephen A. be saying. These guys made it to the top level, but had their growth stunted to the point of ultimate bust. Welcome to the new series where for these reasons, everyone got these players wrong in projection and they became wasted picks taken in front of some of the game's greats. Today's ultimate bust feature focus, Adam John Morrison, born July 19th, 1984. Yes, Adam Morrison was an ultimate bust in the NBA. It's easy to look at one chapter in a person's life story and label that person to fit the narrative you're after and miss the bigger story and what can be taken from it. But put yourself in his shoes and ask yourself if you would trade your life or much less your basketball success for his. To be a hometown kid that grew up loving a particular program, only to have a chance to play for that program and be given the ultimate green light to shoot at will has to be a great feeling. I know for me as a former D1 player, I long for that opportunity. Every bench guy has uttered the words at some point, "Man, if only coach gave me that many shots." Now think about the work that had to be put in to gain that coach's respect and favor. The crowds at those games in college that loved every hair on your body and the little nuances about you that created posters and trends that guess what? You'd be clowned for on the next level. Lastly, think about what it feels like knowing you're one of the best in your field and that every time you stepped on the court, you could have your way and create your own path at that level. Must be awesome. But like the ultimate bust chapter, that too only lasts for so long for some people. Because things did change. He did enter a higher level and struggled. He was the last man on the bench that rarely took his warm-ups off after being a top 3 pick and starting. That chapter seems to be the one people label him with in the sports world and has a story like this being created today. As much as people love to see success, they love to see a fall even more. So let's talk about that fall and 3 stunts that caused it to happen while taking the positive lessons from it that can apply to young hoopers and to life in general. Let's get into it. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Ash, get it, man.
I've been on 2 NBA championship teams. I've been on 2 bad teams. I've been overseas. I've kind of seen it all. Hopefully I can find my way on the squad.
Stunt number 1, nothing was the same. The one thing that needs to be understood about the journey in life, and more specifically as a basketball player, is that levels are different. It's that simple. While focusing on the level or position in life you're at, you have to also peek at those future levels you want to go to in order to prepare yourself accordingly to best fit. Think about a businessman that creates a company. He's always looking at the end goal and the potential of that company to give him the best return on investment. He doesn't go into the company thinking only about this quarter or this month. If so, that's a business guaranteed to fail or at least create unwanted stress. Keep in mind that as a player, when preparing for those next levels, you don't always think about circumstances out of your control that could affect your career. Things like the team that drafts you, the system the coach runs, the players who blindly become your teammates, unlike the ability you had to choose those teammates coming into college. Also, that green light a player like Adam Morrison had goes away, and you will have to earn that once again. Sometimes a player comes in and is handed it, but those are few and can be far between. After his historic rise in college basketball, which included making the Sweet 16, leading the nation in scoring, an All-American, and creating a Linsanity-like aura around himself, Adam left at the end of his junior season for the NBA and was taken third overall as Michael Jordan's first selection in the front office for the franchise, the Charlotte Bobcats. He was met with a vast change, and he didn't quite adjust to it for a few more reasons I'll explain later. The Bobcats were a bottom-feeding NBA team that were used to not making the playoffs and weren't in the market to attract big free agents to change that. They had Gerald Wallace, a solid wing player and leading scorer, Raymond Felton, who was usually compared to Chris Paul and a borderline all-star, and Emeka Okafor in his third year, and a pretty solid big the team was invested in. They all were in front of Morrison in the scoring role and most likely got more plays ran for them. Going from the ultimate green light to getting yours as an afterthought can be a challenging change for any player. Also, some guys play better in different roles. For example, I hated coming off the bench because I felt the game's pace was already determined, so finding how to fit it was always a weird feeling. Setting that pace as a starter was more comfortable. Then you have guys like Lou Williams who thrive in that space. In the 78 games he played as a rookie, he only started 23, which could hurt anyone's adjustment. I think being taken by a different team that had an exact need and plan for Morrison instead of a young franchise without a winning system and not having the green light hurt Adam as he struggled to find his way. His defense was now focused on by opposing teams as a liability, and his shooting from mid or longer distance with better defenders proved more difficult as he shot just 37% from the field and 33% from three. Stunt number 2, injury. With all that said, Adam Morrison didn't have a terrible rookie season. With all the changes and his green light dimmed, he still averaged 11.8 points a game and showed signs of improvement. But in his second year, during a preseason game, he tore his ACL and would be ruled out for the entire 07-08 season. This injury was huge in a few ways for Adam. Already a slower-footed guy that struggled getting by NBA defenders and really struggled defending them, Morrison was now a step slower upon his return, and it clearly showed. He was now getting dogged in practice, which led to his minutes going from 30 a game as a rookie to under 15 in year 3. The injury had made slow Adam Morrison into a slower version of himself. On that level, losing a step for a guy like him can be detrimental, and it was. In the 08-09 season, his third in the league and first returning from ACL injury, the team traded him midway to the Los Angeles Lakers, led by Kobe Bryant. At that point, and with that player, there was no chance for Morrison to see that green light again, and after that injury and a confidence hit being traded, Morrison lost minutes and became a shell of himself before he had a chance to be himself in the NBA. He did win a championship that season and the next with LA though, but in limited minutes, as in under 8 minutes a game in each season. In fact, he became more known for looking like Big Bird on the Lakers bench, fully clothed in warm-ups every game. I think had he not missed time due to injury at the point he did, he could have developed into a solid player that the Bobcats wouldn't have given up on so soon. He wouldn't have lost the little first step he had as well, making him a liability on both ends. Stunt number 3, pressure and expectation. Another huge stunt for Morrison was him mentally not being fit for the NBA level and all the circumstances that come with it. Being a number 3 pick after being the best player in college comes with a ton of pressure and expectations. What also comes with that is the chance of things going completely wrong and unexpected for you that takes away your opportunity. When this happens, it takes a certain person with a strong enough mentality to bounce back from things like injury and diminished role and also being traded, along with out of control aspects like joining a team with a player and personality like Kobe Bryant. Morrison didn't deal well with this and fell into depression, which kept him in isolation most times just to get away from the noise of him being a bust. He lost his passion for the game and getting better, which killed him as a player. Now in year 4, having missed a season for injury, being traded, to end of the bench, to everyone making fun of the disappointment you'd become, he succumbed to the pressure and expectation and made peace with knowing that this level just wasn't for him. After his rookie 4-year deal, he went overseas to revive himself as a player and to get away from the noise his name brought, but didn't have much success there either. He attempted an NBA comeback, but after failed summer leagues and training camps, he decided to walk away from the game as a player, start a family, and become a color commentator for Gonzaga and basketball coach. All in all, the lesson in Adam Morrison's basketball journey is first to remember how fortunate you are to even play sports and at the high levels he's achieved, especially being a diabetic. Remember that 99% of the people that watch and create fail videos about Adam Morrison have never gotten close to an NBA green room or meeting Michael Jordan or being teammates with Kobe Bryant. It takes a lot to get to that level, so the work you have to put in says a lot about him. Mentally, you have to well equip yourself to be ready for changes of levels and adjust to situations in and out of your control. Morrison still had some great experiences as a basketball player and can now relax and live his life still more comfortable than most, even though for these reasons he was an ultimate bust and his growth was stunted. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth, and I'm out.
Rookie year, I played good at the start of the season, didn't finish off like the way I wanted to, then had a setback. Everybody knows about my knee injury, and then just didn't fit in Charlotte.